What's up everyone, you're very welcome along to Thursday night's late night agenda that's also going to double as our Norwich City preview. Apologies, I'm a couple of minutes late, man has to eat and dinner arrived a little bit late, so I was trying to get through it really quickly. I am sorry for the delay, ladies and gentlemen, but we are live. How are we? Loads for us to get through as always, folks. Lots and lots of stuff. I'll go through my Norwich 11 as well and preview my score prediction, all that type of stuff a little bit later on in the stream. I have a separate image ready to go that Connor sent me to talk about that, and I'll pull it up in a few minutes, but let me just do my usual and say hello everyone. How are we? I'm really good, thanks Adam, an LFC fan, Ben and everybody else who's in the chat, Dylan, Kate and the regulars. Great to see you all in. How are you? I'm very well, thank you Dylan. Very well indeed, my friend. Right, ladies and gentlemen, where do you want to start tonight? We can have a little chat about Andy Robertson thinking that Jordan Henderson, or believing that Jordan Henderson should be the Premier League Player of the Year. I'd love to know your thoughts on that one. Mr. Sweeney's in the house. How are we, sir? Bernadette's in as well. Benjamin, Jordan Williams, KFS Productions and all the regular guys and gals. How are we? Bonjour. Look, a little bit of breaking news, a little bit of Anfield agenda breaking news. For those of you that have signed up to us on Hot Mic, good news. We're going to be doing basically, I won't say all the Premier League games, but I'm going to be doing the Leicester game tomorrow. That's going to be on Hot Mic. I'm going to be doing the Liverpool game on Saturday. Going to probably be doing one of the Super Sunday games. Going to be doing the United Chelsea game on Monday as well. All that commentary you guys are going to get over on Hot Mic, which won't be on Anfield agenda. All the Liverpool watch-alongs, as always, will be on here without shadow of a doubt. But we've decided just to go balls out. We're going to go on Hot Mic and we're going to do commentaries of all the games, pretty much all the Premier League games we can do that I can get my hands on. So make sure you're following us over there. I'm not even going to talk through what Hot Mic is, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a video on the channel. So if anybody wants to have a look at that, it's only 3 minutes long. It explains everything and it saves us a fuckload of time on here. Right, what have you got? KFS Productions reckon Wolves to beat Leicester. I'm really looking forward to that game, mate. I mean, it's the start of a good weekend's football, isn't it? We've got that game, obviously the Reds game then on Saturday, a couple of decent games on Sunday, and then Chelsea United on Monday. So yeah, loads to get through. The Timo Werner talk as well. Look, I'm not going to let you down on that, ladies and gents. There's loads to get through. Connor's just making me point out that all the stuff that we're doing on Hot Mic won't affect the content over here whatsoever. You're still going to get your late night agendas. You're still going to get all the stuff that we regularly do. We just want to have fun, and I love doing commentary on games, and I watch a shitload of football. Like when I was eating my dinner before we started here, I was watching the Milan Juventus game, and I might as well be talking about it while I'm watching them. So that's basically the thought behind it. Am I doing commentary in the RTE Angelus? I'm thinking about it, mate. I'm just trying to count the bongs. Some people won't get that, mate. Some people absolutely will not get that. That's a very Irish thing, but you know what I'm talking about, buddy. Sancho or Werner, right? Let us have a little chat around the Hendo thing first, if that's alright. And thank you, by the way, Carl, for the stuff about the 888 video. Do you guys think, like Andy Robertson, that Jordan Henderson does deserve to be Premier League Player of the Year? Because I love Hendo, as you guys know. I've been bigging up Henderson for a very long time. But it is hard to look past other Liverpool players. So whether it be Connor, for instance, reckons that Virgil van Dijk should be Player of the Year. I think there's a very good shout for Sadio Mane to be Player of the Year. But hearing Robbo talking about Henderson made me think. What do you guys think on this one? Should Jordan Henderson be the Premier League Player of the Year, or are there others more deserving? And don't worry, I'll get into the Timo Werner stuff in 5 or 10 minutes. The reason that I don't start off with it is because I know people are awaiting notifications and stuff like that, and I like to wait for people to come into the chat before we get stuck into the big details. Right, what have we got? Sadio for Eden Wolf for Player of the Year. Firmino Player of the Year for Harry. VVD for Big Man Steve. Bong, 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 said Dave, talking about the Angelus. Craig, is it boiling for me today? Boiling? No, mate, it's fucking freezing. Got the heating on here in the gaff. Could be 4 or 5 of them, said Lord Divock, and that's a very good point. Kate reckons Trent, which is a very good shout as well. Who else have we got? Robbo. Robbo's hardly going to come on and say I should be Player of the Year, although I would appreciate that ballsiness. Casper reckons Hendo. Louis reckons VVD. Hendo or Mane for Barry. Daryl as well, it's gone for Sadio Mane. Malik's gone for Alisson for Player of the Year. I think, mate, he missed the start of the season, if you remember. Malik, is it Malik or Malik? I'm not sure which I'm supposed to pronounce that. But he missed the start of the season, buddy, and I think that might go against him a little bit. Even though saying that, what has he kept? Is it 9 clean sheets, something like that now? Virgil for Shea for Player of the Year. Can we stop all this Gerrard return nonsense, by the way? Because it's cringy as fuck. I've got to be honest about it. Anybody who's out there wanting Gerrard to come back for 5 games, firstly, it's cringy as fuck. Secondly, there's no way a man with the integrity of Steven Gerrard is going to want to come back for an unwarranted Premier League medal. I love the sentiment behind it, and I love the admiration that people have for Steven Gerrard, but he doesn't want this fucking medal. He's not going to quit his job in Scotland and come back, play 5 games for Liverpool to get a medal that he doesn't deserve. Let's be realistic about it. It is what it is. It's cringy as fuck, ladies and gentlemen. And I love the man. As I said, you walk into my house, first thing you see is a Steven Gerrard shirt, but he doesn't want that medal. He doesn't want the medal. You know it's right. Logan said, Firmino for Player of the Year. Alan's gone for Mane. VVD for Elijah John. VVD's still the best. He's the difference between a good team and a great team. Just stick the award in the old cloning machine and give them all one. I'm on board with that, John. I'm on board with it. Whatever happens about Trent, and there was a couple of shouts for Trent there in the chat, he should be a shoo-in for Young Player of the Year, surely. Surely nobody can make an argument against that. Gerrard's not John Terry. Absolutely, Dave. Absolutely, pal. And Mane for Kylian. What else have we got? I'm a United fan. I have to admit how much it pains me, but I have to hold my hands up and say Liverpool for the last 2 or 3 years have been fantastic. And I think out of all the teams, it should be Mane. He offers so much more, said Marshy. Appreciate your input there, buddy. I know, as you said, you're a United fan, and that wouldn't be easy for you to come on and admit that. So really do appreciate your input on that one, buddy, and I hope that you're well. Look, Connor, relax with the Werner updates. Fuck me, I thought I loved the transfer. I thought I loved the transfer, but do you know what? That's what makes us so great in here, isn't it? We all want a bit of a transfer gossip, and I'm not going to keep you waiting much longer. Don't worry. There's stuff to talk about with Timo Werner. There's stuff to talk about with Jadon Sancho. I just don't like going back over stuff, so I always try and wait a couple of minutes. Craig, will we sell one of Salah, Mane or Firmino this summer? I wouldn't say so, Angus, no. Look, there's a few issues around Mo at the minute with regards to the Olympics and with regards to the AFCON, and I'm sure we'll talk about that as time goes on, but no, they've all signed new deals, mate. I think we'll move one on next summer. I don't know who. I just have a sneaky feeling that next summer, not the one coming up, the following year, maybe one of Salah or Mane might go. And I think I've probably said that before on the stream. But again, what the hell do I know? That's just guesswork from my point of view. Right, let me get into Timo Werner, because I know that's what a lot of you guys want to talk about tonight, and I know that's what a lot of you guys are in for. So, we've spoken about Bild and Christian Falk before, and they say that if Liverpool want to activate this €60 million release clause in Timo Werner's contract, that needs to be done before the end of April. And this does play in a little bit to what has been doing the rounds on social media, and what a couple of journalists have been hinting at. It does seem that Timo Werner is a Liverpool target. I've yet to see the likes of James Pearce or Melissa Reddy or any of those categorically deny it. And they're the little telltale signs that I look for. The reliable journalists. Those that have worked at B for a long time. So for me, I'm never going to say we're signing Timo Werner, but as close as I can ever be as a fan without inside knowledge of saying that a player is definitely being targeted, then I'm fairly close to say Timo Werner is the one that we're going after, and the one that we seem to be going after. €60 million seems reasonable. We maybe could have got him last year for a little bit cheaper, but it does seem like he wanted another year in the Bundesliga and perhaps was waiting around to see if any interest came from Bayern Munich, which at the time it didn't. And I think maybe it was Bild or Christian Falk said that Liverpool did actually make contact with Timo Werner's representatives to be told that he wasn't quite ready for a move. Look, for me, I've said this for a long time. There were a couple of people last night who said that they don't think Werner fits into our system. I think he is tailor-made for a system, and I think that his versatility across the front three will give Jurgen Klopp exactly what he looks for in a player. Somebody who can play in numerous positions, somebody who can keep up the press, somebody who knows where the goal is. And look, I never like to talk about replacing players. I like to talk about rotating players. So when we talk about a starting 11, it's okay to say that maybe Timo Werner wouldn't start every game. It's okay to say that Mohamed Salah might get a rest every now and again. That's the beauty of potentially having that good of a squad. I think that there's work being done behind the scenes. If I was to have an educated guess at it, I think that we will have this clause triggered by April, and that may be why we're seeing this being spoken about so early. But what do you guys think on €60 million? Do you think that's a good move for Liverpool Football Club? Do you think that that's a reasonable amount of money to pay for somebody of his age, of his calibre, with his potential, with the goals that he's scoring? Obviously, he's played international level for Germany as well. For me, it seems like a snip. £51, £52 million if you're to translate it into sterling. Rabadan said, we'll trade PSG, Lallana for Mbappe, Cavani for Navas if Adrian leaves. Well, Lallana's going to be going on a free, mate, by the looks of it. If we get Werner, what number would he be? I haven't got a Scooby, Steve. I'd be lying to you, buddy. I mean, somebody in the chat will probably throw a number out there, but that's not the type of stuff I worry about, if I'm being honest. Vinny said, Klopp usually keeps who he signed fairly secret, might surprise us in the summer again. I think with this one though, Vinny, because that clause has to be triggered by April, that might be why we're starting to see a little bit of stuff coming out as well. And yeah, I said this before, we have a good working relationship. There is a line of communication there with Leipzig because of the way that Naby Keita was bought, and that was a win-win for everybody in that situation, to be fair. Leipzig got a very good amount of money, the player got the move that he wanted, and Jurgen Klopp got the player that he wanted. So yeah, for me, look, 60 million euro in this day and age, it's easy for me to sit here and go, 60 million, spend it, but it does seem a realistic amount. It seems about fair. He's not going to take number 9, Dylan. That's Bobby Firmino's number. He's not giving up number 9, especially after he just took it. Bobby is our number 9. KFS Productions said, Craig, do you think Leipzig will go far in the knockout stages? It's going to be a really intriguing tie against Spurs over 2 legs. One game, of course, which we will be covering both on here and on Hot Mic. And I'm looking forward to it. I think Spurs will probably nick it because I think Leipzig are a little bit too leaky defensively. But then again, Leipzig could... Actually, I'm getting confused, am I? Yes, sorry, I'm getting confused. But Spurs are playing Leipzig as far as I remember. That's right, isn't it? Yes. I still think it's a 50-50. I was confusing Dortmund's leaky defence there for a second. I think Spurs will get through. I think Spurs will go through on that one over 2 legs, but it'll be close. Vinny reckons that it's a snip, the money. What else we got? Brewster's number 24 said FIFA Gaming. The new King Harry's gone for Van Dijk for his player of the year. I think Leipzig will beat Spurs, said Rodders. There's a couple of those ties, mate, that you defo could make an argument either way for. Is there a game on Monday? Yeah, big man Steve, there is. Chelsea United's on Monday at 8 o'clock. Gerp said, I still want Sancho more than Werner. In my opinion, he's better and got more potential. And we'll get on to Sancho, Gerps, in a couple of minutes, mate. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about him. We'll have a little chat around him. Leipzig, not a good young squad to compete in the knockout stage, or got a good young squad, to compete in the knockout stages. Need to agree a fee with Leipzig, and I've read on a few sites. Do you agree? There's no fee needs to be agreed, Barry. The number is 60 million euro. That is, unless of course you're trying to get at a knockdown price, which I know, as good as Michael Edwards is, I don't see Leipzig budging off the 60 million euro clause. So I think we'll probably see developments over this in the coming weeks. William said, hey Craig, great to catch the show live. Brilliant to have you with us, William, mate. Thank you. I love the emojis as well. Well in, and thanks for joining up as a member, mate. Hello to you, Sir Preet. How are you, buddy? Do you think Sancho will end up at United? Again, I know I just want to get through the Werner stuff, Angus, and I will get round to Sancho because there's a little bit of information on that as well. Werner will take number 19, said T4L_mouse. Who will win, Manchester City or Real Madrid? I reckon City will beat them, mate, over 2 legs. If they don't stop trying to they need to stop trying to walk the ball into the net at times, Manchester City. But you've got to respect Real Madrid's nous. You've got to respect their record in the competition. You've got to respect the players that they have there with regards to the experience that they have, the shithousery that they have. But like us, Manchester City are a team that if they put together an unbelievable 20 to 30 minutes, they can blow somebody away and end a tie very quickly. So I would put Manchester City as favourites to go through on that, but it isn't going to be easy. Boya, how are you, sir? Even said Lallana is wanted if Mendy doesn't sign the new deal. I spoke to you a while ago, mate, about the possibility of you guys signing Adam Lallana. From what I'd read, you're most likely. I think Rodgers wanted a reunion. John Cable said, Werner's the most likely of all the players we've been linked with, as his price is more realistic compared to Sancho, Havertz and Mbappe. Yeah, we know the price. That's the thing, John. We know the price for Timo Werner. We know how much it will cost. Jadon Sancho will be a very expensive signing, and I might as well have a chat about him now, since we've kind of got into that part of the Tonight Show. The Tonight Show, he says, like, can't even string a sentence together. So James Pearce, You know, Jimmy Pearce. God bless James Pearce. But on this occasion, he seems to have poured a little bit of cold water on the Jadon Sancho story. He tweeted something to say, I'd be very surprised. Now, actually, I say he tweeted this. This could be tweeted from an article in The Athletic. But anyway, James Pearce said, I'd be very surprised. Just can't see LFC paying £100 million plus for him. Werner is a cheaper and more likely option, as reported last week. Now, a couple of things about this one. James Pearce does like to manage expectations of Liverpool fans, but he's also not a bullshit artist. I've nothing but respect for James Pearce. And if he said that it's less likely, then I believe him. But if you want to play a cynic on this one, maybe this is the start of a negotiation from Liverpool to try and knock that price down a little bit for Jadon Sancho. Maybe they go, okay, fair enough, we do like the player, we know Klopp's a fan of his, we've heard that before. I think Klopp openly admitted that he was interested when he was leaving Manchester City, but he knew that there was no deal to be done there. So for me, I like Jadon Sancho as a footballer. I think he's 20 years of age now. He had a bit of a rocky relationship with Dortmund. He seems to have settled down after the winter break, according to Zorc from Dortmund. So I don't know on this one. I don't know, is there a need there as much? If you get where I'm coming from, like, I can see Timo Werner suiting our system and fitting into our system quite easily. But I think for Jadon Sancho, you're almost entering the territory where you're looking at maybe moving somebody on. And whilst I'm somebody who believes you can never have too many good players, the Werner thing just makes more sense. It just makes more sense to me. And I know that a lot of us are going to be sitting here and a lot of you guys are going, but I want Sancho. I get you. I absolutely get you. And I also believe that Sancho could well have a much higher ceiling than Timo Werner and go on to be a better player. Sometimes it's just a matter of timing. And I can see the word Nike being mentioned there, and I don't know if that's a question or if you're talking about the potential of Nike coming and maybe doing something here, because Jadon Sancho is a Nike athlete, I believe, and Nike going to be manufacturing Liverpool's kits obviously from next season. So on this one, as I said, I always talk about putting £50 down on the table, and I wouldn't be putting 50 quid on Jadon Sancho. I'd be putting my money on Timo Werner. After that, as somebody mentioned earlier on in the chat, there could well be a few surprises. Klopp does keep his cards close to his chest, and we have seen the likes of the Firmino transfer and the Minamino transfer just come out of nowhere, and nobody had a sniff about it, and bang, the deals are done. Could Dybala be a target, and how will Sancho fit in our system? The whole Dybala thing, I think if anybody was to make a move for Dybala, the right time would have been last summer when he was a little bit rocky about his place at Juventus. Right now, I think he may be a little bit more settled. And I like Dybala as a footballer, but again, I don't see that being something that we're going to do. Sancho's worth around 120. Dortmund want 80 to 90 tops. I think Dortmund have said the starting price is 100 million. From what I've read. There you go. And do you know what? It is weird because if you make an argument that Ousmane Dembele was worth 130, 140 million euro, if you make an argument that Philippe Coutinho was worth 140 million or so when we got rid of him, you can understand why Dortmund would say we want 100 million for Jadon Sancho, particularly if he's going to be going to an English club, because we know that there's a premium on English players to go and play in the Premier League. Somebody that's gained that experience in both European football and in the Bundesliga, and has got a very high ceiling and is an undoubted talent. I suppose you start running out of clubs. Like somebody said earlier on there, I think United have a chance of signing him. Well, if City don't take up the option that they have of matching any bid that comes in for Jadon Sancho, and they do have that option, I think that's part of the sale clause. Signs seem to indicate that they're not willing or not interested in bringing back Jadon Sancho. So let's knock City off the list. Now let's say if Liverpool are realistically looking at Timo Werner and Jadon Sancho isn't on our list, well, there goes Liverpool. So who are we left with then? Spurs? Maybe. I don't know if they could pay the type of wages that Sancho would want. Then you're into the likes of Chelsea's and Manchester United, and we've seen that Chelsea have gone and signed Ziyech from Ajax, or agreed that deal for Ziyech from Ajax, so that probably rules them out. So then you're maybe only left with United. So I don't know, maybe there is something for Sancho to United. We know that United certainly have deep enough pockets. I suppose it would come down to then, does Sancho believe in any potential vision that will be pitched to him by Manchester United? Definitely they can match his wages and his agent's fee and the transfer fee and all of that stuff. There's no doubt that United can afford that. But if you're a player and you really want to go somewhere, it's a big building job at Manchester United right now. You know that they're going to need to bring in 3, 4, 5 players and possibly change their manager. So I wouldn't rule out United for Jadon Sancho. I genuinely wouldn't rule that out. But they seem to be looking more like a Grealish, James Maddison, that type of player. But if they sell Pogba and they bring in a decent amount of money for Paul Pogba, then who's to say that they won't want another marquee type transfer and go out there and get Sancho? I genuinely don't know. I just think as the days go by, unless Liverpool are playing this really calmly, it seems to me less and less likely that Jadon Sancho will end up at Liverpool. Craig, someone said Nike and Under Armour, so that's why we all said Nike. Yeah, I was seeing somebody was asking the question, about Nike or Under Armour. For me, I don't know, that's probably a close one actually. I'm an Adidas fanboy, you guys know that, but I like Nike and Under Armour, as you can see. Where is it? I'm wearing an Under Armour top right now. Craig, hasn't Fabinho already said bringing in Sancho or Mbappe will cause issues with Klopp? I don't think so. I think Fabinho has spoken about the fact that he's kind of jokingly had words with Mbappe about joining Liverpool. Shame City wouldn't do business with us. Go to a team in Liverpool song, said Kay. I read that his release clause was set at 60 million over Xmas, but that will go down to 30 million this summer. It's not the case. No, it seems like, mate, that the release clause is 60 million euro, I think, but it has to be triggered by April. After that, I'd be lying to you if I said to you that it goes to X amount, or if it goes up or down. I don't know. All I know is that for that 60 million euro, it has to be April by the looks of things. Big LC said, random question, do you think United will splash out and sign Kane in the summer? I've always said that I can see Harry Kane playing for Manchester United. Now, I'm not saying, I said this 3 years ago. He just seems like the type of player that Manchester United would go and sign. I don't know if Spurs will sell him, but I have suggested in something coming up that it might be in their interest to do so, and I don't want to give too much away on that one. I don't know, mate. I don't know, it is a random question, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't something that I've thought about before, the possibility of him going to United at some point, particularly if Poch ends up there. Eclipse Fusion said Sancho will want Liverpool or Chelsea. Well, with them signing Ziyech, I know that they needed a Hazard replacement. Maybe they don't think Pulisic is going to hit the heights that they hope for. Maybe then they would look at Sancho. I don't know. But when you have Pulisic there, you've got Willian there, you've got Ziyech there, you've got that youngster as well that was linked with Bayern Munich to sign a new contract, who's so irrelevant I can't even fucking remember his name at this moment in time. Connor said Craig loves the Under Armour private jets. Have you seen the jet that Anthony Joshua got to use when he flies to America and all? Yeah, the Under Armour jets are pretty fucking sexy, mate. I'm not gonna lie. Melissa, how are you? Welcome in. Rachel, how are you? Timo Pukki to Liverpool, said Dylan. Nah, he's at the right club, mate. Timo Pukki, I love Timo Pukki. I love saying his name, and I love the fact that, Norwich got him for so cheap, banged in a shit ton of goals in the Championship, forwarded him into the Premier League. Who doesn't love Timo Pukki? Do you know what I mean? Who doesn't love Pukki? Brian Morrissey said Kane won't leave Spurs, he's too stupid. I don't know, mate. I think Kane's going to get to a point where he looks at his career and goes, right, wonderful stadium, I'm idolised here by the Spurs fans, no doubt about that, but he's going to want fucking trophies. He's going to want to finish his career with some trophies. There's no doubt about that. That's what players want. Players will, look, they'll earn money, decent money, wherever they are. But when you look back on your career, you want to have trophies. You want to look back with trophies, and much like maybe Steven Gerrard at Liverpool, winning something with Spurs might mean more to Kane than winning it elsewhere. But, unless Spurs really start winning stuff soon, I think there is a chance Kane would move on, Hudson-Odoi, yeah, that's the guy I was trying to think of. Thank you, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Liverpool's in talks to sign Randy Orton from WWE. Nice. RKO's all over the shop, Danny. Imagine that. Liverpool bring on a substitution, Randy Orton runs in, RKO immediately, bang, job done. Pogba's unconscious on the ground. Score on Saturday night. Don't worry, I've got my preview part coming up. I've got an image with the score, with my starting 11, all that stuff to go through, my friend. Will Salah win the Golden Boot, says Supreet. Connor thinks that he will, mate. Connor thinks that he's going to start going up that scoring chart and win the Golden Boot again. I don't know if I'm as brave as Mr. Crosby is on this one. Stephen Booker reckons that Harry Kane will go abroad if he leaves Spurs. Yeah, potentially. I mean, there was talk a while ago that Real Madrid were interested. They're interested, I think, in Poch and in Harry Kane. I think I remember Graham Hunter talking about that on his podcast at one point. I hear the game could be called off Saturday due to weather, said Genie. I don't know, mate. It's the honest answer. I mean, I don't want to give any scaremongering, but I don't also want to claim to be a meteorologist. You know what I mean? I don't have a clue what's going on with the weather. I just take each day as it comes and open my eyes in the morning when I wake up and have a look out the window and see what the day has to offer. Craig Kane's idolised by Spurs, but he's not a Spurs fan. He's a childhood gooner. Yeah, I've seen the picture of him in the Arsenal shirt, but you know, he'd come through his entire career. I think maybe a small loan spell at one point, but apart from that, he is Spurs. Like, he's played most of his professional career. He broke through at Spurs. He's idolised by the Spurs fans. But look, I don't know Harry Kane. I don't know if he will ever leave the club or not, but I think if he wants to win trophies, he may well have to. Man like Allison said, is João Felix out for the Atleti versus Liverpool game? There's a little bit of talk, mate, that maybe João Felix is back. There's a bit of talk that Alvaro Morata could be back. And there's even a little bit of talk that Diego Costa could be back for that game. Now, I'm somebody that thinks in these situations when a player is brought back too early, it very, very, very rarely works out for them and they have an impact on the game. I mean, I think case in point, we've seen Harry Kane rush back before and he doesn't look like the same player. So I don't know if Simeone is naive enough to rush these players back or not, but I guess we'll find out on Tuesday. Do you think Nike would fund the Sancho deal to help us out? I don't know, Barry. I don't know what way these things work. I mean, we know that Nike are going to be giving Liverpool about 30 million a year, Barry. We know that Liverpool apparently have this agreement with Nike that we get 20% of any shirt sales or any Liverpool-related Nike products. But after that, would they help fund a transfer? I genuinely don't know, mate. I mean, we like to think that these things are all steered, or players might be steered in that direction, but I've never been in that environment where I actually know if that's true or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I do think, though, whatever happens, I do think that Nike are going to want a big splash when they come in. Obviously, we're going to sell a shit ton of kits anyway because it's Liverpool and we're massively popular and we're going to win the Premier League. We've got unbelievable players at the club. But will they go as far as to maybe... You can never tell Liverpool who to sign, but, you know, would they grease the wheels a little bit? Would they maybe have a word with a Nike athlete to try and push them in that direction? Whatever happens, I just want it to be a player that Klopp wants. Because nobody is going to force Jurgen Klopp into signing somebody he doesn't want at the club. Rachel said, I'm going to watch Liverpool versus Bournemouth on March the 7th and you're excited. I don't blame you, Rachel. You're very right to be excited and enjoy it and let us know how you get on. Where do you think Pochettino will end up at? United, Luke. I honestly think he'll end up at United. He's already spoken, Pochettino, about the fact that he wants to come back to the Premier League. The interesting thing will be if somehow Ole Gunnar Solskjaer manages to get United the Champions League spot. That'll be very interesting because it will be much, much harder for the United board to sack him then. That will be interesting. I mean, it's a bit of a bad one for Liverpool fans because I don't want United to get in the Champions League. Of course I don't. But I'm also a little bit more worried about them getting Pochettino. So it's a difficult one for me as a Liverpool fan to sit back and try and judge. What station is the Atletico game on? It'll be on BT, mate. Craig Werner potentially coming in as a long-term replacement. Him only being 23, what does that mean for Brewster long-term? I think, ideally, Ryan Brewster will bang in a shit ton of goals for the rest of the season for Swansea, and then we'll get a loan next year. A loan to a Premier League club. A loan to a good Premier League club that would suit the style of football that we like to play. And then we'll wait and see what happens. I don't know. I don't want to second guess and I don't want to downplay or overplay my hand with regards to Ryan Brewster. All I can tell you about Ryan Brewster is that I fully believe that he's going to be an absolute superstar and that the kid has the world at his feet. I don't know when he's going to quite be ready for the Liverpool first team, and I don't know what way is the best way for Jurgen Klopp to manage that situation. Kloppo knows. He knows the player better than any of us will. But I do think Ryan Brewster will be back at Liverpool someday and banging in goals. When that is, I don't know. Ideally, yeah, we'd all love it to be as soon as possible. But we want what's best for him and his career as well. Keegan said throw a like on the video. Please do throw a like on the video, ladies and gentlemen, and hit that subscribe button as well if you're enjoying the stream. Keep your comments coming. I just want to take a second again to thank all the people that have signed up to become members on Anfield Agenda. Those people that you can see with the Anfield Agenda logo beside their names are all members on the channel. You'll know them because they'll have that, and then they'll have those cool little emojis that they play about with as well, the Premier League trophy and the Craig emoji, the clap emoji, all that type of stuff. So we're absolutely flying with those, ladies and gentlemen. We could well hit 200 members before the season finishes out, which is, you know, humbling and amazing. So thank you. If you're interested in signing up to become a member, there's a link in the stream description below. It's 99 cents is the cheapest membership, and then you've got our ultra membership, which is $4.99 a month. That gets you the emojis, that gets you the shield beside your name, and that little shield, that little crest changes, by the way. So let's say, for instance, Rachel's a member. If Rachel stays as a member for 2 months, that will become a silver Anfield Agenda crest. If Rachel stays for 4 months, that will become a gold crest. And then if Rachel stays as a member for 6 months, that will become the beautiful red Anfield Agenda logo that you can see beside our name there when Connor's posted. Also, with the $4.99 membership, you get access to our Discord group, which, you know, is where we pitch around ideas. I give them a little heads up before you guys about what we're going to be talking about. I get some ideas from people, of course, about the type of topics that you want to talk about as well. And it's just a way of keeping in contact offline. So 99 cent membership gets you Anfield Agenda FC, $4.99 Anfield Agenda Ultras. But either way, everything is going to be free in regards to our content and stuff like that. Is it realistic that we'll sign both Sancho and Werner? Asks, I think it's Scott. Is that how I'm supposed to pronounce that one? No, would be my guess, Scott. Financially, we could afford it, but you do have to start thinking about, one, like people have mentioned, the younger players. So let's throw a scenario out there. Right now, we're all on the Curtis Jones bandwagon, yeah? We all think that Curtis Jones is a ready-made replacement for, let's say, Adam Lallana, if he moves on at the end of the season. So then you start looking at the Shaqiri situation. And if Shaqiri moves on, well, is Minamino his replacement? I don't know. We have Ryan Brewster there. We have Harvey Elliott, an absolute world beater by the looks of it as well. So his development has to be managed. So if you start bringing in Jadon Sancho's, you start bringing in Timo Werner's, where do these kids play? When do they get their opportunities? Where's the pathway through for them? And that's before we start talking about Divock Origi and, of course, Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane and Bobby Firmino. So it is really, really difficult. And what we know about Jurgen Klopp is he's no bullshit artist. He likes to coach players into improvement. I mean, there's very few, if any, Liverpool players I can think of that haven't improved since Jurgen Klopp came to the club. And he has a great belief in the youth system as well. And ideally, bringing players through like that, bringing them through, getting them when they're 16, 17 or younger and bringing them through into the first team as a model is perfect. Because I don't want to say they're indoctrinated in the Liverpool way, but they're coached right through. And we see this philosophy from the youth team straight through, which will even be more so when the facility Kirby comes into play for the pre-season. You'll get to see that philosophy put right through the club even more so, and you'll want that seamless transition of players from the youth team into the first team. It is difficult. Premier League managers are under absolute pressure to perform and to get success. But Jurgen Klopp has earned the right to take these little chances. Maybe give Curtis Jones a little bit more of a run out. Maybe give Harvey Elliott a run out. But they also haven't let him down. I mean, nobody can say that when they've watched Curtis Jones this season at any point we haven't gone, fuck, kid's a baller. Like, he's an absolute superstar. So it's a difficult one. It's tough to get the mix right. And look, as fans, let's be honest about it. We're all sitting here. We want Kylian Mbappe. We want Jadon Sancho. But we also have to be very respectful of the group that's here and of the achievements from this group. It's always good to freshen things up a little bit. It's always good to add a little bit of competition into the mix because competition pushes everybody's level up. But we have quite a good, strong group of players at this football club. And as Klopp has said himself, it's very difficult to improve on what's here. We don't operate in a fantasy football type situation. Trust the process. Somebody's put that in. Keegan Murphy said, trust the process. That's it, mate. Brian Morrissey talks about it all the time as well. When Liverpool are looking at their players, we look at our players 18, 24 months in advance at times and track players right through. We very rarely go for reactionary signings, is the type of thing I'm trying to say. Craig, you see what signing players for the U team coming through, but look at Fergie. He signed a player every season and brought through U players so it can work. Yeah, no doubt about that, Big LC. And I'm all for signing a player. But we're basically working off the premise here that it looks like we're going after Timo Werner, mate. So if we're going after Timo Werner, well then there's your player. If we bring through somebody maybe, or we look at bringing in somebody as a backup left back or competition for Robbo, then you're starting to talk about who leaves. And then maybe we talk about it. So let's say Degsy Lovren moves on. Well, then maybe we have the conversation around the fullback. Or not a fullback, a centre-back, excuse me. Mal Content said, "Hi Craig, what do I think of Egypt calling Mo into the Olympic squad?" Right, so the situation as I understand it with Mohamed Salah and the Olympic squad is he is currently on a list of 50 players who are down as the, let's say, maybe group for the Olympics. Now, as we know, the Olympics is an under-23 tournament, but each country is allowed to have 3 overage players. And as things stand, from what I'm aware of, no decision has been made, no definitive decision has been made with regards to Mohamed Salah playing in the Olympics. If he does play in the Olympics, and if he does play in the AFCON, which of course he most likely will play in the AFCON, then Liverpool could potentially be without Mohamed Salah for the start of the season, and we won't have him for the pre-season, and then of course we'll be losing him in January as well. So it's a difficult one. Klopp has said he'll speak to Mo about it, but rightly it's something that he's going to do in private, and he's not going to want to play out these conversations in public because, quite frankly, it should be private. It should be between the Egyptian FA, Mohamed Salah and his agent, and the club. That's the way this should be sorted out. We don't want this played out publicly, so whatever happens, the club aren't naive. That's what I'd say. The club aren't naive. The club will of course want to be respectful of Mohamed Salah and his love for his country, and rightly so. But at the same time, unlike World Cups, unlike AFCONs, unlike European Championships, clubs aren't obliged to send players to the Olympics. Clubs can say no. Clubs can refuse players to go. It's not a situation that anybody wants to be in, because nobody wants to, have an unhappy player in their squad. But unlike these other competitions, the clubs do have the power to not release players for the Olympics. That much I am aware of. We've so many players on loan as well. Grujic, Woodburn, Ajaria, Ojo. I think we only left, if my memory's correct, Luke. Look, of those players, Grujic is the only possibility that I see, Luke, is actually coming back and maybe having an impact. And Woodburn, he's too far down the leagues for me to be realistically considered as coming back. Brian said Salah had better have a back strain in the summer. Again, you don't want to have a player go full on Philippe Coutinho and start feigning an injury. Jason O'Neill said Brewster and Elliott are boys. They just wait till they fill out like Rashford. Exactly. I mean, they're two players that I would put my £50 down on the table and say that they will be Liverpool players and they will succeed at the club. Joanne said we have 165 followers on Hot Mic now. Can we get it to 200 tonight? What do we think? Can you guys help us out on that one? It's really easy to do. I'm not going to talk about the process too much, but just download the app, put in the code Anfield Agenda when you do it, and then give us a follow on Hot Mic. It would be lovely to get ourselves up to 200 there before we've even started the stream. And our first stream on Hot Mic will be tomorrow. We're not going to be streaming on Anfield Agenda tomorrow. I'm taking the night off on that. We're going to be doing a stream on Hot Mic. We're going to be covering the Wolves-Leicester game. It's our first little foray into Hot Mic, so we'd love to see you over there. If you're going to be watching that game, why not come and watch it with us and listen to our commentary of it, which of course will be full of swearing and expletives as always. But yeah, please do go over there, download the app. We're making a big play. We're pushing into Hot Mic big time, but it will not affect our content on here. We're just going to cover as many games as we can on there. We're going to be doing Champions League games. We're going to be doing the Leicester game. We're going to be doing the United game on Monday. We're probably going to do a Super Sunday game as well. So make sure you do check out the app if you like what we do. If you like our watch-alongs on here, I think you'll like us on Hot Mic as well. How likely is Werner to Liverpool? Asked Benjamin. If I was putting a percentage on it, mate, and of course please know that this is just me being a fan, this is no inside stuff, I would say I'd be probably comfortable at saying 70%, mate, somewhere around that. Can't wait for Hot Mic up the Reds. And yes, it's free, said Keegan. It is. It's free for you and it's free for us. So it's a win-win. Yeah, but there is a little financial incentive for us in this. If you guys do use our code when you sign up, and of course if you do follow us on there, you will be helping us out financially as well without having to actually put your hand in your pocket, which is brilliant for everyone. Will Hot Mic have a live chat? Yes, that is another function that they do have on there, Dylan. There is a live chat. There is ambient background noise, so you'll hear crowd noise and stuff as well in the background, as well as our commentary. But the most important thing to remember with it is there'll be no delay. Everybody can uniquely sync our commentary to your television and the way you're watching the game, and there won't be the YouTube delay that there is normally in there. So again, win-win. What have we got? Why was somebody timed out for asking questions? I don't know. That's Brian Morrissey's department. Brian Morrissey is the chief moderator, and I know Brian doesn't do things, without a reason. So whatever Brian has decided to do there, of course, Brian and Brian and all the mods, John, Papot and everybody else gets my full support because they know what they're at. Jay said he just signed up to Hot Mic. You're a legend, mate. Thank you. And make sure you use the code Anfield Agenda, all caps, all one word. 171 followers on there. 29 to go. 29, ladies and gents. If you got your phone out, bang, bang, bang. 2 seconds. Job's a good one. Tony, you're a legend, sir. Thank you. Can I get Hot Mic on a smart TV? No, mate. It's only available, Al, on mobile devices. So on your iPad, on your phone, on your Samsung tablet or any of that type of stuff. Now, you can sync it to your soundbar on your TV, I believe, Al. There is actually a video on the Hot Mic app that allows you to, I think it's on the app, maybe it's on the website, that talks you through it and tells you exactly what you can and can't do. But yeah, you'll get notified as well. If you follow us on there, you'll get a notification just like on Twitter when we go live. So again, win-win. You'll get full video on there as well. As in, like you're watching us here now, you'll get that video. What countries are Hot Mic available on? Everywhere, Casper. Everywhere that I'm aware of. And I know it's in America, the States, Ireland. I think everywhere. I don't think there is any restrictions on it, mate. If it's in the App Store or it's in the Google Play Store, you're good to go. And somebody said just use the YouTube app on the TV. If you want to watch the watch-alongs that way, by all means, Joe. Absolutely. Tony said I used Hot Mic on my Android box. Brilliant. I'm delighted to hear that it works, Tony. Nice one, mate. Let me know how you get on with it. Right, what else we got to talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Keep the comments coming. This is your show. What do you want to talk about? We've lots of time still to go on tonight's stream. We've at least 30 minutes to go, so loads of stuff to get through. We talked about Karius, actually. Before I forget about this, we spoke about Karius yesterday and the day before, and people were saying, is he going to come back to Liverpool? Well, surprisingly, things seem to move very quickly in Besiktas, and now, amazingly, seems like Karius may actually end up staying at Besiktas, albeit on another year's loan deal. Now, that seems pretty risky for us. We need to make sure that financially this package works out for Liverpool, and I don't know what way this will work out, because from what I've read, the Besiktas hierarchy seem to think it's less of a risk keeping Karius there. They may be going out and bringing in another keeper, but it remains to be seen if a package can be sorted out with Liverpool that makes it palatable for FSG, Klopp, Michael Edwards and the entire Liverpool family to make this transfer realistic, because we only paid, I think, 4.5 million, something like that, if my memory's correct, for Karius. We have got a loan fee, of course, for the 2 years that he will be at Besiktas, and there was an agreement in place for them to buy him if, we hit certain targets. But as always, these things are always renegotiated at a time, so it'll be interesting to see. And whatever happens, Karius I don't see coming back to Liverpool, other than if it's a bit of training time in the summer and he ends up getting moved on. But I just said I'd give you guys an update on what I read today, that apparently Besiktas are looking to bring him on for another year's loan. Kevin, how are you, mate? Kevin Ellis, welcome. Please, no Karius, he needs to be sold. Look, I understand everyone's disappointment that Karius didn't work out, but you got to feel for the kid. You really have to feel for him about what happened in the Champions League final. He got that schneidi elbow in the head from Ramos. We don't know if or how that affected him. None of us know. But what we do know is he did not intentionally make those mistakes. They tried to keep him at the club. It didn't work out. He's moved on to Besiktas. Wherever he ends up in his career, I wholeheartedly, sincerely wish him the best. I really do. Your thoughts on who will be promoted and relegated? It looks like West Brom are going to come up, Luke. Although, I don't want them to come up. I know that there hasn't been a Tony Pulis there for a while, but they'll always have a bang of Tony Pulis about them for me. So it looks like West Brom are going to come up. As always, Leeds are looking like they're making it as fucking difficult on themselves as possible to come up. But if I was to put money on the table, Leeds, West Brom, and either Fulham or Brentford, one of those two from the playoffs would be my guess. But, you know, the championship can change very quickly, and it's a very difficult league to get up out of. And with regards to relegation, it looks like Norwich are going down. Again, it's pretty difficult to say, because somebody can put a run of games together. I don't know. I don't even like to talk about relegation because I don't wish clubs bad things. Kevin, fuck off. Honestly, just fuck off, mate. You with your do a shout out bollocks, mate. Fuck off. That's my answer to your do a shout out. Just fuck off annoying me with your shitty little begs, mate, because it just doesn't work. It just pisses everybody off. In fact, you know what? I couldn't even be arsed dealing with you, mate. Adios. We want Jamal Lewis from Norwich, said Shay. Do we? I don't know. He's definitely going to be a player that's in demand. I'd seen us linked with him before, Shay, so I know where you're coming from on this one, buddy. Blackburn have a chance as well, said Dylan. Look, yeah, it's really difficult to see who's going to come up for the championship because shit moves really quickly there. If Leeds get promoted, do you think Milner might go? No, he's just signed a new deal, mate, with the club. James Milner will stay at Liverpool for another year without a shadow of a doubt. Christine said we're up to 176 on Hot Mic. Nice one. 24 to go, ladies and gents. Would you take Coutinho back? No, Benjamin, no, mate. And I don't think Klopp would. Again, James Pearce talking about this said it's important, and I'm paraphrasing here, by the way. It's important to remember the way that Coutinho left the club. Very destabilised, fought his way out. There was a little bit of bad blood, I should say, towards Jurgen Klopp from his camp at the time. Melissa Reddy's excellent piece at the time spoke about the fact that Felipe Coutinho tried to speak to senior Liverpool players to try and get them to have a word in the manager's ear, and I think that may have been the last straw. So Coutinho made his bed, he fought his way out, and it hasn't worked out for him. And he's got, I don't want to issue blame anywhere, because he looks like a decent lad, Coutinho. Like, I'm sure he's a very nice fella. But no, I don't want him back at the club, mate. Do you think Origi stays next season, especially if Werner joins? 100%, Joe. Let's not forget, Divok's a big game player. Divok showed up in the Champions League semi-final and banged in some important goals. Divok scored that goal against Everton with Pickford in his little wavy arms jumping up under the crossbar. He scored in the Champions League final as well. Divock Origi has come on leaps and bounds and is still very, very young for a striker. So yes, I do think he'll be at the club. I do think there is a place for Divock. And I think when he signed that contract extension, because let's not forget, he could have been off on a free. But he wanted to stay at this football club, signed a new deal. And I think that there is a time and a place for Divock Origi. And I like him. I like Origi. I'm glad that he's here. I think he's come on leaps and bounds. And I think there's more to come from Divock. So for me, keep Divock without a shadow of a doubt. If Adrian goes, who comes in? Well, the only realistic guess I can make, Casper, is Kikir from Trabzonspor, because he's a goalkeeper that we seem to have been linked with for at least 12 months now, I would say. So you'd never want to wish anybody off at the club, but if Adrian does want to leave and he does want to play regular football and he does want to go back to Real Betis, then I've never belittled the player for wanting to play football. So same with Simon Mignolet, when he moved on, he wanted to play football. He got to that point in his career where he knew he was going to be back up to Alice, and then look, these guys have short careers, so they're going to want to play, and Adrian's a fucking legend no matter what happens, and it's been wonderful having him at the club. If he wants to move on to Betis in the summer, then I think he'll do so with a massive thank you and best wishes from all Liverpool fans. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens on that one. Adrian can stay, said Big LC. I love having him at the club, mate. I think he's bought in big time, and for him to go from West Ham last year, not doing too much, to playing in Super Cup finals. Excuse me, shouldn't have had that Chinese so close to the stream. Playing in Super Cup finals, starting the season for Liverpool because Alisson was injured, and putting together such a good run of form. Brilliant. I'm all for it. I don't know what Brian's fuck's aching about. No idea what you're moaning about now, Mr. Morrissey. If Adrian leaves, bring back Reina. No. I love Pepe Reina. Pepe Reina is one of my favourite goalkeepers of all time, but again, no, he's not there. He's not at the level. What's this? Says on Hot Mic Wolves match February 14th, 8 PM. I'm completely lost, mate, what we're talking about. Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow we are covering the Wolves match on Hot Mic. I said that earlier on, Wolves against Leicester. We're doing that tomorrow. 180 followers. Only 20 to go, ladies and gentlemen. Keep giving us a follow over there. John Terry, how are you, sir? Full kit wanker? No? Different John Terry? Either way, buddy, welcome. Origi scored some pivotal goals for us. That's what you're talking about. Yes, I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, Divock Origi forever at Liverpool Football Club. Rain is a class act. He is. I love Pepe, but I think again, if we're going to bring somebody in, I'd like us to bring somebody in who's really going to push Alisson, who's really going to give him a fight for the number one spot. Well, that's going to take one hell of a keeper. Tom Payne said, would you sign Sancho? We covered this a little bit earlier, buddy, but we'd all like him. We all think he's a good footballer, but it doesn't seem realistic. Again, just kind of talking about what James Pearce said. He said, I'd be very surprised. Can't see Liverpool paying the £100 million plus for him. Werner is a cheaper and more likely option, as reported last week. So, yeah, I think Werner is where I'd be putting me 50 quid on. Let's bring back Stuart Downing. Mate, I'm still trying to forget about Stuart Downing, Benjamin. I'm still trying to forget about that time, mate. Al said, I'm wanting to check if I signed up correctly. Yes, Al. If you're following us on there, mate, and you can see us, then brilliant. Again, doing the Wolves match tomorrow, Wolves versus Leicester. Then, of course, we're doing Norwich versus Liverpool on Saturday, which will be simulcasting on here and on Hot Mic. On Sunday, time permitting, because I think I've got an interview with Graham Hunter on Sunday, we'll be doing one of the Super Sunday games as well, and we'll be doing the Chelsea United game on Monday, all on Hot Mic as well. So make sure you are over there, and don't forget, you're going to get your late night agendas and all your content on here regardless. But I think Connor thinks, and anyone that I've spoken to thinks, this could be the future of fan broadcasting, and we want to be in there as early adopters of the technology. So yeah, the more the merrier. Love to see you over there as well. Craig, I use Hot Mic on Live Player, said Juan. Brilliant. Again, thank you for that input. Your feedback like that, mate, is vital to us in knowing what works and what doesn't work. Mane or Salah? As in, which one do I prefer? Probably Mane, if I'm being honest about it, mate. I think Mane is more impactful for us. But I love them both dearly. But, you asked the question, I'll try and give you an honest answer. Is Mane fit for Saturday? Yes, I believe so. He's been training since Monday. He's a naturally fit fella. Klopp has spoken about that before. And let's go with a predicted 11. So let's do it. Let's go to the Norwich preview part of the stream right now. So I'm going to open up the image. 3, 2, 1. There we go. So here's the 11 that I've gone for the game against Norwich on Saturday. Again, this is just a complete guess. 3-1 win for the Reds for me. Alisson in goal. Trent at right back. Gomez to partner Virgil van Dijk. And Andy Robertson at left back. Midfield is where it always gets a little bit tricky. I tried to keep in mind the game against Atletico as well, coming up on Tuesday. So I've gone for Fabinho, Henderson and Gini Wijnaldum, and then Mane, Salah and Firmino. That's the 11 that I've guessed that we'll start with. Is that harsh on Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain? Absolutely it is. Because Chamberlain is class and I'd love him to play. But I'm also thinking maybe we'll see Jimmy Milner if he's back. Maybe we'll see him away against Atletico. That's just the 11 I'd go with. And it is being harsh. You can make a call for Minamino. You can make a call for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. You can make a show for Jimmy Milner. You can make a show for Adam Lallana. That's just the 11 that I think will start the game. Joe O'Reilly reckons that Divock will start. Maybe, mate. Maybe Sadio won't be deemed fit enough, and maybe Divock will play in there. That's absolutely possible, buddy. Do you think they should let Gerrard be on the podium? No. Ask yourself this, Ethan. Do you think Steven Gerrard is going to want to come down and stand there like a spare prick and get a medal? Or be on the podium? No, he's the manager of Rangers Football Club right now, and he's had some tremendous days at Liverpool, lifted the Champions League, and will forever go down as a legend at this club. But I think it's very disrespectful towards Stevie G to be talking about these type of things. Like, let's be realistic. It's just not going to happen, mate. Great stream. Thank you, Bernadette. Always appreciate your support. Bern, I'm tickety boo. Thank you, buddy. How are you? Leeds United fan? Are you happy? Are you happy right now, mate? You think you're going to come up? What's going on, by the way, Bern, with Casillas, your keeper? Bit of a howler. I heard a few shouts from Leeds fans maybe looking for him to be replaced. I'd love your thoughts on that one. Quino said, Keita or Oxlade-Chamberlain. Understand it 100%, mate. Picking the midfield trio is really difficult. I mean, Firmino and Hendo, yeah, you could probably say that they're almost nailed on when they're both fit and available, but that third slot, you can make an argument for Gini, you can make an argument for Naby, you can make an argument for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and they're all valid arguments. This is just me having a guess. Who's my favourite Liverpool player? Bobby Firmino. Absolutely love him. The new King Harry. He's yeah, I love everything about Bobby. What about you, mate? I'd love to know your favourite player. What have we got? Rafa said the first 11 looks about right. By the way, I don't get to comment much because I'm normally listening while I drive home from work here in Alabama. Alabama, that is Deontay Wilder country, isn't it? If my memory's correct, isn't that where Deontay comes from, Rafa? But look, mate, always lovely to know that you're listening. You're a member as well, which I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much. But yeah, great to know where you are, that you're listening, mate, and that you listen on the drive home from work. Brilliant. Glad we can be part of your journey and safe trip home. What have we got? Bobby wanted, said John Terry. Yeah, if that's the whole Bayern Munich nonsense, we can put that to bed. There's no way, one, they're getting him for 75 mil. When we all seen that figure, it was fucking laughable. And why would he go to Bayern Munich? Do you know what I mean? It's a step backwards in his career if he goes to Bayern Munich. With all due respect to a very successful historic club, they aren't at the level of Liverpool right now. Only thing Steven Gerrard will be involved in is winning the Premier League, is the piss up after it, said Tom. He does like a bit of a sesh, Stevie G, but it looks. But again, he is manager of Rangers Football Club. And he's, under a bit of pressure as well right now, because Rangers 10 points behind Celtic, albeit with a game in hand. Goal scorers for Saturday and Leicester versus Wolves prediction. Right, so goal scorers, I don't know, mate. Let's pick Van Dijk to score a header and Salah to score 2, at a guess. And the Wolves versus, or Leicester versus Wolves, or isn't it Wolves versus Leicester? Where is this? Is this at Molyneux or is this at the King Power? Let me just check this. Right, it's at Molyneux. 1-1. 1-1. That's my guess. What do you guys think actually on that one? It's a difficult one to call that. I mean, you can easily make an argument for either side. Wolves are usually involved in fairly low scoring games. They're very difficult to break down. But Leicester, Leicester have the capabilities of pulling a goal out of nothing as well. They have the capabilities of Jamie Vardy just coming in out of nowhere and scoring. Difficult one to call that. And I'm looking forward to doing the commentary of that on Hot Mic tomorrow. Right, so Casper's gone for 4-0 to Liverpool. Connor's gone for Firmino and Salah to score 2 and Bobby to score 1. JH07's gone Mane, Firmino and Salah. 2-1 to Wolves, malcontent. It's at Wolves, said Almich. Thank you, mate. 2-1 to Wolves as well for Casper. 3-2 to Leicester for Joe O'Reilly. Red Chronic's gone for a 2-2. 3-2 to Wolves, said JH07. John Terry reckons Leicester are going to lose their top 4 spot. I don't think they will, mate. I honestly don't. And I want them to get top 4 as well. I really do. I want them to succeed. I have a soft spot for Leicester. Maybe it's because Boya and because of Lee Chappie and the Leicester City fans that we know and get on well with. Papwat reckons Wolves will just about edge it. Juan's going for 2-1 to Wolves. The new King Harry, your favourite player is Hendo. Nice one. Good choice. 4-0 to Liverpool, Mark Anthony Vieira. Right, on the Norwich game, ladies and gentlemen, we've spoke about Wolves, spoke about this, but this is our Norwich preview, so give me your starting 11s. If you have time and you want to write it out there, please do bang it into the chat and I'll do my best to read it. Also, your score predictions and who you think will score. Ethan said, I'm feeling a 4-1 win for Liverpool against Norwich. Hendo, Trent, Firmino and Salah to score. Big LC reckons 4-0 to Liverpool with a Minamino debut goal. Remember how difficult Norwich was at the start of the season for us. They are capable of playing some really good football. Rod reckons 2-0 win for Liverpool. How are you, Rod? Lovely to see you win, buddy. I hope all is well in Australia. Rafa's going for a 0-0. Dylan's going balls out for a 10-0 win. I like your style, mate. Man like Jav's going 4-0 to Liverpool and 2-1 to Wolves. Al reckons to be a draw in the Leicester game tomorrow. Nice. Connor reckons that I'm spot on with my team. It's very rarely me and you agree on these things, mate. Nice one. 3-0 to Liverpool, said LFC Elish Sharoop. Brian said, I can't disagree with your starting 11. Thank you. It is this the 11 that we spoke about the other night, Connor, that we said hasn't started for Liverpool in the league this season? Is it that 11? 3-1 to Liverpool, said Barry Aiken. Do I support any other teams apart from Liverpool? Yes is the kind of technical answer, mate. I mean, I've openly spoken about the fact that Barcelona have been a club that I've been close to my entire life, but the feelings I would have towards Barca would be nowhere fucking near the love I have for Liverpool. But I mean, when I was 5, 6 and 7 going over to Spain on holidays, the first shirt my parents ever bought me was a Barcelona shirt, and I've always had an affinity towards them. But don't get me wrong, when we played Barca last year, I wanted us to absolutely batter them. But you've asked me a question to give you an honest answer. Yes, I would always watch and look out for Barcelona's games as well. But I wouldn't say support. That's definitely not the word I'd use. But fondness for. Connor said, I'd rather Chamberlain over Wijnaldum, but I reckon Klopp will go what you've said. Got to be another 4-1, said Callum. Love you too, Super Scouser, mate. Really appreciate your support, buddy. Stuart Atwell is the referee for our game. You're a superstar, Joanne. Thank you. Really appreciate you putting that into the chat, because I didn't have a chance today to check that one out. My daughter's actually on a school skiing trip in Italy, and she gave us a Skype today, and yeah, she's having a great time, so that really cheered me up. I love to know that my little girl is enjoying herself. Miles Blood Red said 4-1 to Liverpool. Your 11 is spot on. Quino's gone for Alisson, Trent, Gomez, VVD, Robbo, Fabinho, Henderson, Chamberlain, Mane, Salah and Firmino. Again, absolutely have no issues with that, mate, and I love Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, so if he starts, that's sound. 3-0 said Red Chronic, Firmino, Salah and Minamino to come off the bench and score. Ross reckons 3-0 to Liverpool. Just look at the Barcelona live stream of last season when Craig went mental. Exactly. That tells you where my allegiances lie, actually. Do you believe we still get regular comments on that, even up to now? People watching that video and commenting on it, the highlights of that win. Do I support any local Irish teams? Again, I would use the word affinity being the word. Shelbourne would be the club that a lot of my uncles would support me. I grew up about 2.5 miles away from Bray Wanderers, the Carlisle ground. Played there a couple of times as a kid in cup finals as well. But yeah, Shelbourne would be the club that I suppose if I had to say I supported, but even at that, very loose. Can you mention Bohemian's new away jersey? Yes, the one in support of refugees with Amnesty International. I meant to talk about that, Brian, actually. So O'Neill's, I think Brian brought this jersey out, is that right? Irish club Bohemians did a jersey, and the sponsorship on it said refugees are welcome here, or something along those lines. It's a beautiful gesture. I'm all over it. I love it. I'm probably going to try and get that shirt if I can get my hands on one. And I'm fully in support as well of the premise behind that. So well done to them. Well done to Bose. Yeah, just lovely. Is the match on Sky Sports Premier League? Which one are we talking about, Tony? If we're talking about the Liverpool game, then yes, 5:30 kickoff. Connor said he's always had a soft spot for Fulham and hopes that they come back up. Yeah, I love Craven Cottage as a ground, actually. It is very quaint, isn't it? It's a nice little ground. 7-0 to Liverpool, said Owen Eaton. About 15 minutes left in tonight's stream, ladies and gentlemen, and don't forget there won't be a stream for tomorrow night. we're going to be doing the game over on Hot Mic. We're going to be covering the Wolves versus Leicester game on there. Our first little foray onto Hot Mic. So again, I don't know how close we are to our 200 followers on there, but if you're going to come and watch us, please do put in the code Anfield Agenda on sign up by the app, and just make sure you give us a follow on there. It'd be lovely to get to 200 tonight before we start. That Barca win was a thing of beauty. I still watch the highlights back, Anthony. I still get emotional about it, mate. And I'm not going to lie, I don't ever want to predict us getting to a Champions League final, but there's something poetic about it being 15 years since Istanbul, and the fact that the final this year is back at the Ataturk Stadium in Istanbul. That would be nice. That would be very, very nice indeed. Blue said that's why I love Era, as in Ireland. Yeah, it's a lovely gesture, mate. It really is a lovely gesture from Bohemians, and if I can get that shirt, I think I'm going to get it. I know Ella is a very big Bohemians fan in the chat as well. I don't know if Ella's watching tonight, but I know that she's a big Bows fan. Would you say Jones is ready for the first team? Said Big Al. Yes, 100%, mate. I think he is. You heard him interviewed after the Everton game where he said he was almost disappointed that he's not getting more starts. And he didn't mean that in a kind of moany, bitchy way. He was just backing himself and his capabilities. And I like that in him. You've got to have almost a little bit of arrogance and belief in yourself. Keen to see Minamino get his first goal, said Keegan. Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'd love to see him bang one in. When you celebrated the goal when Gini scored, I'll never forget that. Oh yeah, that was the man boos moment, Ethan, wasn't it? I couldn't believe what I was seeing, mate. And even with the Trent corner, even though the ref immediately blew and pointed to the halfway line to signal a goal, it almost seemed too surreal, and that it couldn't be allowed. It was almost like it was so cheeky that it couldn't be allowed to happen. But it was, and it was magical. And the finish from Divock doesn't get spoken around enough, by the way. That finish from Divock was not easy. Yes, the ball boy was a genius. Yes, Trent was an absolute superstar. But the finish from Divock, the pressure, the moment, in front of the Kop, at 3-3, composure, beautiful. Just beautiful. Still makes me emotional thinking about it now. Curtis Jones is ready, said Media Centre man. Big man Steve said he lives 29 minutes, very precise that one, buddy, from Cardiff and 31 minutes from Swansea. A treble would be even better, said Elijah John 5. Imagine a treble. Look, we were allowed dream, aren't we? We're fans, we're allowed dream. A treble breaking 101 points, mate, that would be... So we probably would be fucking unbearable, wouldn't we, if that happened, if we're being honest about it, like. What do I think of Bury getting expelled from the Football League? You never want to see a club go out of business, mate. But I'm somebody that believes there's probably too many professional levels in English football, and that the leagues from, let's say, League 2 down maybe should be done by region. But you never want to see a club go out of business. It's heartbreaking for the fans. Yes, there was, I believe, some financial mismanagement. I don't know the ins and outs of it. But it's always sad to see a club like that go under. It really is. It was like that. Did that just happen? Yeah, that's the moment. You see the corner taken, you see Divock scoring, and you're like, is this allowed? Like, you know it is allowed because you don't know rules were broken. But it just seemed too beautiful. I mean, if that had been disallowed, can you imagine? Like, we looked at the goal Liverpool had against Southampton, I think it was, that was offside recently, where we played it from back to front, and it would have been one of the goals of the season. Imagine the world being robbed of that Trent quick corner and that Divock Origi finish if, for some reason, the ref had been a bit arseholey about it and decided that the whistle wasn't blown or whatever. Yeah, it was a beautiful moment for football in general. Klopp said he signed a new contract to attract potential new signings. That must tell you something about who we might be signing. I like where you're going with this, Yusuf. I'm not going to lie, mate. I like where you're going. Bury is Manchester is sad. I guarantee you most of the so-called Bury fans crying on TV are actually United and City fans. Look, mate, I don't know, nor do I want to be a club that are in that trouble. But I also don't think that it's right for other clubs to have to bail them out. I have to put that out there as well. There was a reason that they got into that situation, and I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know if the owner was an asshole. I don't know how bad the financial mismanagement was. But like, we can all say that nobody wants to see a football club go under. YOLO said, "Evening Craig, I reckon 3 or 4-0 to the Reds." You know me, YOLO, mate. I always, when we're playing away from home, in my predictions, it's kind of just, it's almost a jokey thing at this point, but I always give the home team a goal. Beating Barca was a miracle. To win 4-0, not concede, was surreal. Especially when you think about it, Elijah John, mate, and you think about the fact that Liverpool didn't have Firmino, Liverpool didn't have Salah, and Robbo went off with an injury about halfway through the game. Right, what have we got? Again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, memberships are open on the channel if you want to sign up. We're on the way towards 200 memberships as well. You can see the people that have signed up. They have the Anfield Agenda crest beside their name, and they get use of those cool emojis. So if you want to become part of that family, you can do so from just 99p or 99 cent or whatever your currency equivalent is. Should Liverpool sign Ryan Fraser? He is a free transfer at the end of the year, mate, so I don't know if he's up to Liverpool standards, but somebody will snap him up for sure. John said, "It's not easy running a small club. Just think of the travel costs every season. That's got to be crippling for a small club." Yes, I get it. And that is, I suppose, spit and sawdust, if that's the right phrase, John. Hand to mouth kind of stuff. I get the existence must be very hard, and it must be very tempting to maybe stretch yourself a little bit to try and get those promotions up to the league. But if we look at it from a point of view of Leeds United, let's say, do you remember under David O'Leary all those years back, and some younger viewers might not remember this, but Leeds invested massively in contracts that they couldn't really afford on the hope that they'd continuously get Champions League football and win the Premier League. And it almost fucked Leeds over completely. It did put them in a whole load of trouble, but it nearly finished the club off altogether. What do you think about the women's team performing so badly compared to the men's team? I don't really think too much about it, mate. I mean, we have won the Women's Premier League at one point. I know right now they are, I think, goal difference above the relegation spot. I think they lost 3-2 to Arsenal today, if my memory's correct. But I'm not going to lie, I don't watch it. I don't watch the Women's Premier League. So I don't really have an opinion on it, but they're Reds, so I want them to do well. They wear the Liverpool shirt and wear it with pride like everyone else, and will give 100% on the pitch. But I think there are some changes going on. I think that they changed the amount of teams in the Women's Premier League this season, I think, or was there a shortened season? But yeah, we've won it before, so I hope that, you know, they get on a stable footing, and I wish them the best. But again, don't watch much of it, so I'd be lying to you if I said anything else. Kino said, "Keep up the streams, man." Thank you, buddy. Appreciate your support. It means the world to us to have a great set of subscribers like we do. Right, somebody give me a shout. Where are we at? Let me see. I'm going to check this live on stream. Where are we at with the hot mic stuff? How close are we to getting there? Right, bang. Bang. Oh, we're only 12 away, ladies and gentlemen. Only 12 away on hot mic, so I think we can get there with your support. Will we get a notification for Hot Mic? Yes, Joanne. As long as you follow us on Hot Mic, as long as you subscribe to Anfield Agenda on there, whenever we go and do a live broadcast, if you've got your notifications switched on your phone, you know, like every other app, yes, you'll get a notification when we go live. Loved Thursday Night Agenda. Thank you, Theodore. I missed it last week. I took a few days off because the Reds were off, and I think I streamed one day in 5, but honestly, mate, I was twiddling my thumbs. I didn't know what to do. I love coming on here, and I know you hear us pushing Hot Mic a lot, but that won't change what's going to go on this channel. We're still going to be doing every watch-along of Liverpool games on here. We're still going to be doing late-night agendas. We're hoping even more so. We're actually hoping to push our second channel from the summer onwards, Crack On, where we're going to be doing the Euros. Although I'm going to be away for a little bit of that. But we're going to be covering the Euros. We're going to be covering the Reds pre-season friendlies, of course. We're going to be covering the start of the Premier League. We're going to be covering Champions League games. Loads of content coming up. I've got the nod from the missus to keep making content and go balls deep into it, to use a phrase that I like to use. Brewster was ready, then loaned. Will the same happen to Jones? No. I think the thing with Curtis Jones, mate, is the fact that Lallana's moving on probably at the end of the season, and there's talk of Shaqiri getting sold. I think that probably means that will naturally allow Curtis Jones a better glimpse into the matchday squad, shall we say. What do I think of Chelsea's new signing? Not going to lie. I mean, I'm not going to lie, mate. It seems like an absolute snip. What was it? 30, 33, 34 million, something like that. Maybe a little bit higher, but let's say the mid-30s for Hakim Ziyech. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a good piece of business. I would. I'd be absolutely on here spinning you a yarn. I don't know if he's of the calibre for Liverpool. I don't know if he'd get regular game time here. But I will say he's a very talented footballer. And I will say that Chelsea have done a good piece of business in bringing him in for that price. Thank you for answering. My pleasure, buddy. I always try and answer as many comments as I can. Their show is usually very interactive. What do I think of the Newcastle takeover? I don't know what the latest is on that, Barry. So we know Mike Ashley, I think, is wanting 300 million. Is that right for the club? And that actually sounds cheap for a Premier League club. When you consider Martin Broughton recently said that Liverpool are getting towards a 2 billion valuation. Well, a club like Newcastle, with a stadium like St James's Park, with a fan base as supportive as they are, when even with the Mike Ashley shit, they're still getting behind the team week in and week out. It does seem like, I won't say 300 million is a bargain, because it's still 300 million, but for an established Premier League club, I think somebody should make that deal. I think somebody should give Mike Ashley that money. What about Havertz? Definitely been links, Dab. I'm trying to be careful about what I say here. There's definitely been links to Kai Havertz. I still think he'll end up at Bayern Munich. Genuinely do. Although, I've said this before, I also think Bayern Munich are going to go after Leroy Sané massively. And will they go for the two of them in the same window? I don't know. Havertz will most likely leave Leverkusen at the end of the year. Price tag probably around £80 million, €100 million, something like that. A player that most top European clubs will probably take a look at, because he is a talent without a doubt. But I don't know. I haven't seen as much stuff for him to Liverpool. The stuff that I've tended to see seems to be more from fans talking about him than journalists and stuff like that. Al said it does seem cheap for the size of the club. It does, doesn't it? Like 300 million to us mere mortals sounds like a lot of money, but when you consider the riches of the Premier League, yeah, it does seem cheap. Only Mark can compare to me. I think you're talking about Goldbridge here, mate. Thank you. Look, I like Mark. Mark's a good lad. But yeah, thank you. Really appreciate the kind words. What have we got? De Jong gone, De Ligt gone, Ziyech gone. Now rumours of Andre Onana being wanted by other clubs. Yes, that's the keeper. He is definitely being looked at by other clubs without a shot of a doubt, mate. And let's not forget as well, there's another guy that's going to be going as well at one point. What's the other guy's name that plays at Ajax? That's really talented, who I'm forgetting again. Attacking midfielder. What's his name? Real Madrid were really, really strongly linked with him. No, not Neres, not David Neres. No, not Dusan Tadic. There was somebody else. Van der Beek, that's it, Donny Van der Beek. That's the guy I was trying to think of. Yeah, another one that could well leave. Who actually is a really good footballer. I actually really, really like. Before James Milner had signed his new deal, I was wondering if that was a player we were going to be looking at, but I'd seen him strongly linked with Real Madrid over the past while. David Neres has gone really quiet, actually. There was definitely links to Liverpool and David Neres, and Everton and David Neres, if my memory's correct. But yeah, that went quiet very quickly. He's what they call a motivated seller, drives the price down, said Brian. But we know he's stubborn as well, Mike Ashley. Newcastle are a well-supported club, but they're not a big club. One club city. Well, I suppose Sunderland's very close, mate. But they're definitely... Well, I suppose it depends what you call a big club. They pack out St James's Park week in and week out. And if you're looking to buy a club, you're going to know you're going to sell a shit ton of season tickets. You're going to know you're going to get the backing of the fans. You're going in there after an owner who they don't like, so they're going to want you to succeed. If I was in a position where I could buy a Premier League club and I see Newcastle, I would have a go. I would definitely have a go. I think they're a sleeping giant waiting to be awoken. So Newcastle are valued around the same as Kylian Mbappe. That is freaky, mate, when you think about it like that, isn't it? I mean, let's say Mbappe is 250 million plus. Yeah, you can buy a stadium, a football club, training facilities, a brand name, everything for the price of one footballer. It is crazy. Big Man Steve said the Brozovic links are weird. We touched on them a little bit last night, mate. They seem to be emanating from Italy, and they seem to say that Liverpool had sent scouts to the Milan derby to watch Brozovic. I don't know. Midfielder, mainly being deployed as a holding midfielder this year. I don't see it for me, mate. I don't think he's right for us at all. Nor do I think we need him. Haven't seen what Ashley did to Rangers. It could depend on what kind of ties he has with the club linked with Sports Direct. We need to invest in Jude Bellingham. I really see Stevie G in his game. Is it Stylianos? Excuse me, mate, if I mispronounce your name. 192 followers on Hot Mic. We just need 8 more of you absolute legends, then we've hit the target. Boom. I'm going to carry on till 1:15 tonight because I'm not doing a stream on here tomorrow. So 7 more minutes to go. Sam, I've been really good. Thank you, buddy. How are you? What's my opinion on West Ham signing Gerrard Brown? I don't know anything about it, mate. Don't watch enough about West Ham to see who they are or aren't signing. Sorry, I don't have an opinion because I don't know much about it, buddy. Let me just check. Done that. Yes. Again, let me just recap on the Timo Werner stuff for those coming in right at the end as well. So, Bild and Christian Falk say that if Liverpool want to activate the €60 million release clause in Timo Werner's Leipzig contract, they need to do so before the end of April, which is probably why we're seeing all this stuff in the media lately about Liverpool and Timo Werner. James Pearce seems to suggest that Timo Werner is more likely of a signing than Jadon Sancho, who it's believed Dortmund want around 100 million for, and there probably won't be a shortage of clubs as well interested. The amount of clubs that can probably put the financial package together, that might be a little bit different, but as I said earlier on, if I'm a gambling man, and I am, I would probably lean towards Werner being, well, much more likely than Sancho. But we are in a financial position where, you know, we could afford both, but I don't know. I don't want to get your hopes up, and I don't want to pour pour cold water on it. I don't want to dampen your expectations. Whatever the fucking phrase is I'm trying to get out. Brian said, I think West Ham could go down. Sorry to ask if you already answered this, but am I doing the Wolves watch along here or on Crack On? Neither, John. Only on Hot Mic. So the Wolves against Leicester game tomorrow, we're only doing on Hot Mic. The Chelsea United game on Monday, we're only doing on Hot Mic. The Norwich Liverpool game, we're doing on both. The Atleti Liverpool game, we're doing on both. And the Spurs Leipzig game, we're doing on both. But we're going to be doing loads more content on Hot Mic only with regards to non-Liverpool games. Would you take Gianluigi Donnarumma as an Adrian replacement? No, I wouldn't, mate. He's weird is probably what I'd describe. When Donnarumma broke through at Milan originally, I thought he was going to be an absolute superstar. And I know he's still very young, but there's too much about his game. I don't think for somebody of his size, he's not commanding enough for my liking. There's also this weird little thing about his brother being at AC Milan as well. And I've read some stuff that said, you know, they kind of want to stay together if they move. I don't know. It's a bit weird, but no, not for the amount of money it would take. I think realistically, Kikir seems to be the one we've been linked with regards to the goalkeeper situation. What is Hot Mic? Sorry if you've explained that already. No problem, Sam. If you want a full explanation, Sam, there is a 3-minute video that we made about Hot Mic that's on the channel, mate. But basically, a real quick summary of it is, it's an app that you can download from the Google Play Store and the App Store as well if you're an Apple user. And it allows you to listen to our commentary, but sync it up perfectly in time with a game that you're watching on your television. The app gives you a button on it. You open up the app. It'll ask you for a code if you're signing up for the first time. Put in Anfield Agenda, all caps, all one word. And then it'll show you a list of games that are going to be available on there. You know, they do NFL, they do basketball, they do football, they do loads of different sports. So you pick the game that you want to listen to a broadcaster do. Let's say in this case, it's Norwich against Liverpool. Click on that game. You'll see a list of people who are going to be broadcasting it. Click on which one you want to listen to on the day. That will then ask you, a big sync button will pop up on your screen of your phone or your tablet or whatever it is. Click that button. It will listen to your television or your device that you're watching the game on, and it will sync up my commentary or whoever's commentary you choose to listen to with your device, meaning no delay. And there'll also be background noise and stuff like that, crowd noises, but you'll get the same video experience that you get on here. It's it's one of those things that when you heard it, you're like, shit, how did nobody think of this before? And it's fairly new, and we want to be an early adopter of it. We're going to make a big push on there to establish yourself, and we've got big plans. I'm not going to lie to you. What have we got? All I can say is nice try, Norwich. At least 3-1, possible 5-1, said Mr. Timox. Have click follow to. Oh, you've clicked follow as well, mate. Sorry, mate. Thank you. And it syncs up to the telly. Yeah, it's brilliant, and it also works, I think, with sound bars and stuff like that as well. And please, Sam, do have a look at it, mate. And if you do download it, don't forget Anfield Agenda, all caps, all one word, and make sure to follow us on there as well. Right, ladies and gentlemen, anything else before we finish up? Any more topics you want to talk about? Quincy Promes is another one on the move. 192 followers. We're, 8 away? 8 away from hitting 200, which is amazing. Where does that put us in the rankings now, Connor? I'm going to have a look while we're live on stream, because the broadcasters are linked, so what? We are now the 16th highest ranked on there, and we haven't even done a stream yet, but that's only because of your support. Will the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight be on Hot Mic? I'm actually in talks with Hot Mic, Dara, to see if we can get that sorted out, buddy, because pay-per-view events, they're a little bit more difficult. If it is, we'll probably do it, mate. You know me, Dara, this could be my way of breaking into boxing for commentary, which was one of the things that excited me about Hot Mic, is the fact you've heard me say before, Dara, that I'd love to talk about boxing more. Well, Hot Mic might give me the option to do that and practice my my commentating skills, and I want to see from a personal point of view if I can bring the same humour to non-Liverpool games. So for me, I'm just testing myself as well. Follow 2, said Mr. Timox, you're a legend, buddy, thank you. Do we have any pets? Yes, I have a dog mate called Gizmo. He's a West Highland Terrier, Scottish Terrier cross, and he's about 9 now. He's about 9 going on 10. Dortmund have priced Sancho at 100 million plus. In all of Liverpool's transfer history, we've never spent over that price or even close to it. Well, we spent 75, mate, in Virgil van Dijk, and I suppose the way the window is these days, transfer fees are going up and up and up, so probably won't be too long until we see Liverpool looking at spending around that much on a player. But yeah, over the years, we are somebody that usually buys players in and turns them into superstars. Gizmo with a Z, mate. Gizmo as in from the Gremlins. That's Gizmo. PSG or Dortmund in the Champions League. I'd rather Dortmund. What do we got? Would I keep Ryan Kent or sell him? Sell him. Kent? Sorry, Kent's gone. He's gone. He's a Rangers player. I got confused with Harry Wilson there for a second. Sorry. Yeah, no, Ryan Kent's gone. He's a Rangers player. What do you think about Bellingham? Not much, Stylianos, mate, because, again, haven't watched much of him, and that's my honest view. I could come on and lie to you and say, oh yeah, he's a good talent, but how old is Salah now? 27. Al, 27. We could structure the deal over years like Arsenal did with Pepe. Well, that's the way transfers are done, Barry. Again, they're amortised over the course of the length of a player's deal at the club, meaning that they're put on the club's balance sheet, and the cost of that transfer and the value of the player is spread out over the course of whatever it is, 4 or 5 years, as well as, of course, maybe the instalments and the way the transfer fee is paid. That varies from time to time, but it's not unusual for it to be paid off over a few years. Right, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call that one a night. We've been on about an hour and a half now, so amazing. Look, again, no stream on here tomorrow, taking that night off, but we're going to be doing our first game on Hot Mic, so I'd love to see you over there. If you're going to be watching the Wolves-Leicester game, sure, why not turn on our commentary on there? We'll be back on Saturday, half an hour before the game kicks off against Norwich, so about 5 o'clock on Saturday. Make sure you've got your notifications on YouTube turned on, because we don't schedule our watch-alongs on here, we just go live. So we'll do our full show on there as always, our watch-along of the game, post-match show on Saturday as well coming up. On Sunday, I'm hoping to have an interview with Graham Hunter at some point, but that'll be pre-recorded. And we'll probably be doing a game on Super Sunday on Hot Mic as well. So look, I hope you're not sick of us, but you're going to be hearing lots more of my voice over the next year or two. So again, thank you to everyone for your support as always, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk to you on Saturday for the Norwich game. If you're watching this later on, I'd love to know your prediction for the score. I'd love to know your prediction for the team, for the 11. Please do put it in the chat as always. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up as well. And I'll chat to you amazing people on Saturday. Up the motherfucking red.